really anything from like your ribs to your knees, your pelvic floor could be involved. And we need to proactively care for these muscles, but also know that if you're experiencing one of these issues, that there are muscles that are likely involved, and pelvic floor therapists like myself can help with them.
I'm Amy.
I'm April.
Certified sex educators, sexperts of the year, and best-selling authors.
And we're on a mission to help you have more spicy, connected, and amazing shameless sex.
Welcome to the Shameless Sex Revolution.
We're so close, it's like we have our own language. We're making sex and relationships shameless.
To learn more, go to shamelesssex.com.
And for 15% off some of our favorite sex toys, use code SHAMELESSSEX at purepleasureshop.com.
You were listening to a pleasure podcast. For more from our sex podcast collective, visit pleasurepodcasts.com.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome back to the Shameless Sex Podcast.
Welcome back from Palm Springs.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, Palm Springs Palm Springs was amazing.
We learned about Jillin.
Yeah, we talked about it in the last show, but we're going to keep using it.
We're going to keep using it.
instead of baiting. It was masturbating.
So we have a group text with all of our amazing retreat attendees from each retreat.
Oh, it's instead of jacking. Sorry.
Instead of jacking off, it's
yeah.
Jillin. And
yeah.
we heard coin this term. We didn't coin it, but one of the participants who's a physician out in Montana. She's amazing. She's a podcast fan from Jump. She is a brilliant.
Yeah, she's listening to every
episode. We had
episode.
Some surgeons. We had some doctors.
But if anyone got any injuries that didn't happen, we would have been fine.
No, exactly. We're like, oh, don't worry if you get
April's like, I got 2 EpiPens.
I'm like, I have my EpiPen, but I feel like I'm going to be resuscitated. So thank you for everyone that joined us. And get ready because
Jill away.
We will have some more retreats coming to you. Not they're going to be pretty exclusive, and they're 2026 is around the corner. Everyone deserves some in-person love.
Yeah, and if you're interested, go sign up for a newsletter. You get first info and access about our future retreats.
And possibly a discount.
And you get 60 plus creative ways to spice up your sex life, and it's free.
Like Jillin.
Jillin's free, yeah, because it's just your hand on you.
Speaking of Jillin. Actually, this is not speaking of Jillin.
This is an episode with Dr. Sara Reardon.
Why are you whispering?
Because she's the Vagina Whisperer.
Are you whispering to my vagina?
I'm because does your vagina hear me?
I think so. It has a pretty good listening skills.
It has a pretty good... Your vagina has very good listening skills. My vagina is better at listening than my ears.
Yeah, well, I feel you.
It used to not be.
We recorded this episode a while ago, and I've talked about it to several, if not, I don't know, a lot of people. I don't know what you consider several, but it's been a shit ton of people.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize it wasn't going to be released until 9:30.
Well, we moved it back a little smidge.
Right.
Yeah.
But I am so stoked for this to be released because the information it's jaw-dropping. She is a boss.
Yes.
And she's also a doctor.
Yep.
But she's a boss doctor, and she's the Vagina Whisperer.
Yep. And she's also the Vagina Whisperer. I wonder if she trademarked that. She should have.
I see live cunts.
I love when you whisper sweet nothings to me.
That was a play on I See Dead People. But
I know.
Okay, good.
I like live cunts.
Yeah.
I like that you said cunt.
I see them.
Okay, you guys ready for Are you ready for a sex question?
Yes.
Okay.
This is fun.
I'm in a new relationship with a man with a huge penis. Not so much girthy, but long, like way longer than my body can fit. We make it work, but it feels a little awkward, and I have to think a lot during the process. Do you have any tips for how a woman with a smaller vagina can have sex with a longer penis?
I have a shallow vagina, Amy.
Shallow. I know you're a doctor.
You've never reached in there, but
I've never touched it.
the
I
speculum
touched it
could
once.
fall out.
Just kidding, I didn't.
No, you didn't touch it once.
The speculum. You need the short speculum.
What do you consider a long penis, though? I'm wondering.
Well, I don't. So this person didn't say, but it reminds me of what Susan Bratton would say is like, everyone's like, it's penis size, but it's really like pussies are also different sizes. Sorry, vaginas, right? So long penises do well with long vaginas.
Right. So are we talking not a lot of girth, but mostly
just
length?
mostly length. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what this person's saying.
I
don't
really seen a lot of
I mean,
those.
for this person, it could just be 5 inches, but that's long for them. I don't know because they're not giving us the size.
So we're talking about a subjective situation here.
Yes. Yeah. So we're just saying that it's too long for the vaginal canal, but they want to have some good sex.
Which could hurt because it could hit the back of it could hit your cervix. Which, if you've ever experienced a bit of a cervix hit, it doesn't feel good. It can feel like getting punched in the gut, and it can also be a bit jarring, and it can change during a cycle.
That was one of the things, right? So like know when your cervix is lower, and that can happen different times of the month, often during your period, but also before and after ovulation. So one tip is before you have sex with your partner, stick your fingers in your pussy and see, is your cervix feeling like it's hanging down low?
Does your cerv hang low? Does it wobble to and fro? Can you tie it in a knot? Now, if you can tie it in a bow, you should call Dr. Castillo at Swan Medical.
Or maybe Sara Reardon. All the above.
Also Dr. Sara Reardon.
Actually, no, she's a vagina person.
Right.
So
she's going to whisper to the vagina.
Yeah, but go check it out. And that will inform you maybe of some of the positions you can do. If your cervix is lower, that means you can't have as deep of penetration. Like doggy style may not be your position at all, because that's a deep penetration position. And especially when your cervix is low, that's can probably be like way too much.
Okay, wait. But can't you put like these bumpers on the cock to help?
Yes.
So I don't know. I know that Pure Pleasure Shop has some, but like I've never used them per se.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But that feels to me like it'd be a good suggestion, right?
Totally. So there's two options for bumpers.
Okay.
One is your own hands.
Oh.
So you can take your hands, he can take his hands and put it on the shaft of his cock while he's thrusting or grinding you, and it's its own bumper. So you have a homemade one, but that can be a hassle for positions. Another one is there are these bumpers. One that we like is by a company called Bird, and it's odd. It's BIIRD. It's the Bird 3-piece set.
So meaning 3 different sizes of bumpers?
So there are 3 rings that are squishy that all go together.
Oh.
And yes, so you can take one off, I believe. You take to make it shorter or longer.
So if your cervix is hanging low, you can remove a bumper.
Maybe, exactly. Or or you probably add a bumper, and then your cervix is up high. You could remove a bumper.
The math skills didn't suit me.
I'm not. That is not my thing. I'm not good at geology. Okay, that's my joke.
My topography skills are off today.
So with this though, he can just wear it. Then you don't have to think. Like this person's saying, it's a lot of thinking involved. So he just puts it on, and then you can have the sexes, and it will make it so when your bodies are close, then it's not maybe not bottoming out in a way that doesn't feel good.
They're squishy.
Yeah.
They're soft.
They're comfortable.
Material.
Yeah.
They're mostly
stretchy.
Well, body safe material is all that Pure Pleasure Shop will carry.
Yeah.
And I've seen them. I haven't used them, but I'm happy that you mentioned these things because that sounds like the perfect solution for this person.
Helpful for a lot of folks. And again, size. Who knows what this person's size is? If they're 9 inches, if they're 5, it's just different size matches.
But girth. That we can't really help.
I mean, girth is different. This person's not asking about girth, so that's a different thing.
Okay.
That would involve, I think, a lot more time, breath, and lube.
All right. Well, we won't go there.
We'll save that for the next person that asks that question.
Listen to the Vagina Whisperer.
If you would like to check out, I'm going to lose my voice doing that.
Oh, yeah.
If you would like to learn more or check out the Bird, again, BIIRD 3-piece set, it's actually in the Shameless Sex Faves because we have heard raving reviews about it. We have not tried it. Go to purepleasureshop.com and you get 15% off with coupon code Shameless Sex, and you get 15% off any toys that you buy there. And again, Shameless Sex Faves, easy way to find out what we like because we only advocate for what we love.
And what we've heard that works well.
Oh, exactly.
Because sometimes we don't get to try everything because
it doesn't.
Thankfully, my partner's penis it's
perfect for your pussy,
right?
Yeah, same with mine for sure. So it's hard for the casual sex. Like, hey, casual sex partner, can you put this on your dick? But like, I would do that if I was having sex with someone who was like, I wanted to have sex with them, but their cock was super long. I'd be like, can you put this thing on?
There are times where it does hurt when I am close to my cycle. So that would be a good investment.
Could still be helpful.
All right, I'm going to go buy that. Janice.
No, we'll get them for free.
Janice.
We're going to make my mom give them to us.
Mom. So are you ready for the bio?
Yes.
Since 2007, Dr. Sara Reardon has been caring for people's pelvic floors as a board-certified pelvic floor physical therapist. She is the founder of the V-Hive, an online pelvic floor workout app for pelvic floor strengthening and so much more. As the Vagina Whisperer on Instagram and TikTok, she has hundreds of thousands of followers. We absolutely love her book, Floored, A Woman's Guide to Pelvic Floor Health at Every Age and Stage. To learn more, go to thevagwhisperer.com.
All right, everyone, it is interview time, and we are here with Dr. Sara Reardon, also known as the Vagina Whisperer. Yes. All right, you're already excited? Me too. You already heard a little bit about Dr. Sara Reardon, also known as Sara, the Vagina Whisperer, in the intro in the bio, and we always start with the same opening prompt. Dear Dr. Sara, can I say that? Like I'm like writing into
Dear Abby, almost.
Yeah, dear Abby. Dear Vagina Whisperer, can you please tell us a little bit more about how you got to where you are in the field of sexuality, and how did you become known as the Vagina Whisperer?
I am a pelvic floor physical therapist, so I specialize in treating the muscles of the pelvic floor. And the pelvic floor muscles have the opening to the vagina, the anal opening, and the urinary opening. So these muscles help with things like bladder control and giving birth and menstruation, but also sex and orgasm. So I definitely see a lot of patients and clients with sexual health issues, everything from painful sex to difficulty having orgasms, painful orgasms, peeing during orgasms, all the things. So yes, sex has become part of my profession. I love educating women in particular about their bodies. And my girlfriends are the ones who called me the Vagina Whisperer. And when we were all having babies a decade ago, I started an Instagram account with lots of pregnancy and postpartum tips for them. And I called it that because that's what they called me. And now it has just exploded to like over 700,000 followers because everybody wants to know about their vaginas and pelvic floors. So
Thank
here we
goodness.
are.
Wow, that's incredible because the pelvic floor, people don't realize how important it is for sexual health on top of just regular health. Like and we've had some shows about the pelvic floor specifically, but I think like this is going to be all encompassing because it's about vaginal health, but everybody has a pelvic floor, right? Humans?
Correct. All individuals, males, females, kids, trans, like everyone has a pelvic floor, and some people have a penis and some people have a vagina, but the inside muscles are pretty much the same.
Okay. So can you talk about, because you touched on it a little bit, but can you talk about what this beautiful pelvic floor does for people?
So the pelvic floor is a basket of muscles that sits at the base of your pelvis. So we can all kind of envision that bony ring on a skeleton where your pelvis lies. And at the opening is a basket of muscles that sits like a hammock. And that hammock of muscles holds your reproductive organs and your bladder, your uterus, your ovaries, your balls. And that muscle also has 3 openings. One for the urinary sphincter for urine to exit, one for the anal opening for poop to exit or anal intercourse, and then the vaginal opening for menstruation and vaginal birth, but also vaginal intercourse. So we actually talk about the pelvic floor a lot when it's related to sex, but as you mentioned, there are so many day-to-day functions that it does, from peeing and pooping to core support, breathing. I mean, it's just working for us all throughout the day. Unfortunately, most women don't even know that it exists until there's a problem, which in the pelvic floor arena can show up like pain with sex, decreased sensation with sex, orgasm challenges, things like that.
We want to dive deeper into that part because I think it'd be really helpful for people to see maybe all the different ideas or ways that you can recognize maybe you have pelvic floor issues, and then we'll also talk about tips and tricks and all these things. But before that, how does the pelvic floor relate to overall health and well-being? It's like kind of at the core of our body, right? So isn't it related to so many other aspects?
Totally. I mean, it is the core of your body. And I think a lot of times we have always been taught like, oh, tighten your core, strengthen your core for stronger abs or better back pain or good posture. But your pelvic floor is part of your core. So it's something that just doesn't get a lot of attention. And I think if we are educated about it as women at every stage of our lives, from reaching puberty when we start menstruating and we have to be able to insert menstrual hygiene products, or when we become sexually active, or when we are trying to conceive or pregnant, postpartum, menopause. I mean, our pelvic floor is changing. These muscles and tissues are changing at every stage of our life as a woman, and we're never taught on how to care for them. So again, we're not even told that we have a pelvic floor oftentimes until there's a problem. Other pelvic floor issues that are common are like urinary leakage with coughing, sneezing, running, laughing, bowel movement issues like constipation, hemorrhoids, support issues like pelvic organ prolapse or abdominal separation called diastasis recti. And then again, it could be vaginal dryness, vulvar dryness, discomfort with intercourse. So really anything from like your ribs to your knees, your pelvic floor could be involved. And we need to proactively care for these muscles, but also know that if you're experiencing one of these issues, that there are muscles that are likely involved, and pelvic floor therapists like myself can help with them.
I have a question inside of a question. So I was thinking about this because when we said we're going to dive deeper into this, I'm like, so how does one, this is the first part, like how does one know that they have pelvic floor issues? And you kind of touched on a few things, but also like, do you get an x-ray for that? Is like, all right, reveal the x-ray. Do I need a CAT scan to know?
Right.
Or do you just like reach in there? So yeah, if you can talk about that, bust out the x-ray. I want to see.
Right. It's really, my finger is really how we assess this muscle. So that's the x-ray. It's like a gloved, lubricated finger. So I think the trick is with pelvic floor issues is we don't always know what's normal. Again, we're never educated. We get maybe a little bit of sex ed, depending on where you live or what school you go to, maybe a book about periods, but nothing about pelvic floor health. And so we may not know that, little leaks that happen with exercise or laughing or coughing are not normal at any stage. We may not know that peeing multiple times at night or straining with bowel movements are not normal. Even people who have sex for the first time or maybe sex after giving birth and they think like, oh, maybe this pain is normal, or maybe like, of course, less sensation is going to happen. I've had a kid, but it's not. I mean, I think that if we can understand and educate women on what's normal, then we know like, oh, this isn't normal, right? So anything that kind of calls attention to this part of your body, thinking any issues with peeing, whether it's like I can't start my urine stream, I can't empty my bladder, I feel like I have to pee all the time, I'm getting chronic urinary tract infections, any issues with pooping, straining with bowel movements, feeling like you're not emptying completely, hemorrhoids, fissures, pain with bowel movements, muscle pain, so hip pain, tailbone pain, abdominal pain, painful periods. Again, sexual health issues we kind of mentioned already. And then, so anything in this area, if something is bothering you, then that's information from your body that something's not working right. The way that we assess this is, unfortunately, everything in our medical system is siloed. It's like you've got a bladder doctor and a uterus doctor and a colon doctor.
You have to go this one, and then wait like 8 weeks to
And then get a
6
referral,
months.
and you need a referral, and you're like, no, I know
You need a
exactly what's wrong with
referral.
you. Yeah.
Right. And they're like, you need a CAT scan and an x-ray. They're like, nothing's wrong. But you're like, no, something's wrong. So, but nobody's evaluating the muscles until you see a pelvic floor therapist. So the way that we do pelvic floor assessments, muscle assessments, is an intravaginal exam by inserting a glove lubricated finger into the vagina. And we say, squeeze, relax, press on the side walls of the vagina, which is the pelvic floor muscles. We can also do this rectally as well. And that's how we assess these muscles to see if there's an issue or a problem that we can help with.
We did an episode with a pelvic floor specialist here in Santa Cruz that we were in person in this studio that I'm in right now. April is in Los Angeles. And she had me put my own clean hand and lubricated finger, specifically my thumb, in to like feel different areas of my pelvic floor while she's here on air.
So I watched like a creeper in the corner.
I had a blanket over me, okay?
She did.
But it's kind of like an assessment to feel the different parts of the body where there's too much tightness, not enough tightness. She also says something about like the ridges that like it should feel, what'd she say? It's like a marshmallow? I think she said a marshmallow.
Like soft like a marshmallow. Yeah. We all have our different descriptions. So these are muscles, like every other muscle in your body. And your pelvic floor should be able to contract and like shorten and tighten, kind of like a bicep muscle, but it should also be able to lengthen and relax. What we see with women a lot is they may hold tension in this part of their body. So you may be able to contract, but you don't let it go, right? It kind of stays tight and tense. And that's what can lead to pain.
Is there one more common than the other? Sorry, the tightness versus the I can't let go and relax?
They're connected. So if you tend to have tightness or tension, like you can't relax as well. Think about like you have a lot of tension in your shoulders and people are like, relax. And you're like, I don't know how, right? Or, tension in your jaw. So it's really like you have tension or you have weakness. I think the narrative with pelvic floor issues a lot has been like, do your Kegels, tighten your vagina, strong vagina, better orgasms. But so many women have tension. So if they're doing Kegels all the time and they're already overly tight, it could be making their problem worse. So I think what's important by the assessment that you did, Amy, is to be able to discriminate, like, is my pelvic floor weak? Is it tight or tense and not relaxing? And that helps you determine like what type of treatment pathway you need.
That makes sense because I remember when we did that, I could feel one like a lot of the ridges, and she was having us do like remediation, I think is the term, right? Or me because it's my own thumb and my pussy while April's watching the corner. But the other one was she was having us test. So like around my thumb, tighten. Can you feel that on your thumb? And then relax. Does it feel like everything is relaxing and opening up? And I was able to do both, but she was saying that a lot of people cannot. Right?
Totally.
Not available.
They don't. Or they're already like tight and tense and they're like, I'm squeezing and I can't feel anything. I must be weak. And I'm like, actually, you're already so tight that you're like, can't even feel the tension. Right. So, and you'd be surprised. I mean, I think sometimes when we have sexual health issues, we feel embarrassed, shamed, inadequate, and people aren't comfortable exploring all of the time. But I'm like, if you, like, more partners and medical providers have seen this part of your body than you have. And so like you have to start looking and exploring if you want to take care of this and, you know, or find a therapist to walk through it. Or I go over this in my book, Floored, like how do you do a self-assessment at home? Because it's not so intuitive if nobody's ever taught you what to do.
You know, when you go to the doctor, with specifically the gyno, and I don't know if this is true, I want to know if you believe this to be true, Dr. Sara. Do you think if you hold the speculum in really nicely and it doesn't like plop out that you might have like a tight pelvic floor? And then if it plops out, maybe you have like a weak pelvic floor? Because I've been told I could be like a pelvic floor model. That's what I was told at a gyno once.
Because it's so tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes
like a toy go.
sometimes you can push it out. Yeah, sometimes people feel like a tampon won't stay in and it could be weakness, but oftentimes it's tension and your muscles are like pushing the tampon or in your case the speculum out. So yeah, I mean, I think it could definitely be that way. A lot of fitness people too, like a lot of people who work out and do Pilates and bar and fitness, and they tend to have like tension or tightness in the vagina, which is great. But again, you want it to be able to relax as well when you need it to for sex and peeing and pooping and all those things.
And then I wear a lot of high heels, and I've been told that also makes your pelvic floor tighter. Like I'm wearing high heels right now and I'm standing and I'm like, ooh, my pelvic floor, I can feel it. It's activated.
Isn't that wild? I know. It's so funny.
A taxi driver told me this in New York. He's like, oh, you wear a lot of high heels.
You got sex
I'm like,
from a taxi driver.
Yeah. He was like, you know, that means you have a tight pussy. And my friend Kristen, who's
Did he
been
say
on the
pussy
show,
too?
he said pussy. He said pussy.
Ooh.
And,
right.
I was like, okay. And so I like Googled
You're like,
it
I
after.
can
was
say
like,
that.
he's
Can
right.
you say that?
Yeah.
This
You
was
know
like
what
15
makes your
years ago.
pussy really tight. But I like your high heels.
I don't think he was hitting on me. I swear he just was useless knowledge. So is that true? Should I go back?
You know what? It's I love that you're bringing this up, and I have never been asked this question, but I actually did research on this. And yes, wearing high heels, I think it's like over 2 inches, can actually negatively affect your pelvic floor. Negatively in the sense that like it can cause tension. So if like you have a lot of pelvic floor tension already, you're trying to decrease, then like I would lower your heel height, but it can, which is
Don't tell April that. She does not want to be.
I know. She's like, I'm going higher. I want tighter.
I want 7-inch platforms. Thank you for that. That's great info.
And I think we're going to get into some of the tips too, because maybe even like wearing high heels, you can also learn to practice on how to relax your pelvic floor too. But before we get there, okay, so you're a medical professional. You work with a lot of medical professionals. So what should a person or woman do if their doctor says, you know, your pelvic pain or leakage is just part of being a woman? It's your age, because you had a baby, postpartum, menopause, whatever. Just like, this is just normal. Just deal with it. What the fuck do we do?
You know, I would actually prepare yourself to hear that, because that is more likely going to be what you're hearing, and it's just total bullshit. I mean, it is such the narrative that we've been told as women, and I'm like, it's absolutely unacceptable. I want to say find a new doctor, but it's not always that easy. Again, we're dealing with stuff like referrals and insurance and blah, blah. But you have to advocate for yourself. In every state in the United States, you can get a physical therapy pelvic floor assessment without a referral from a doctor. So at least get an assessment. You can find a physical therapy clinic and you can look online and say, I want to get an assessment, at least know if something's wrong with your pelvic floor. And then if you need treatment, they can contact your doctor and get more, you know, get a referral or whatever. There's also home workout programs. Like I have a whole app that I'm building on like pelvic floor workouts for you to do at home if you have tension and if you have weakness. I wrote a book called Floored, A Woman's Guide to Pelvic Floor Health at Every Age and Stage, because not everyone can access an in-person therapist. There's not, we're not in every city or we have really long wait lists. Or sometimes people just aren't ready. They're not ready for in-person treatment. They don't want a finger in their vagina or anus just yet. And again, that comes later. Like, you can get an evaluation and it's all external. And, we do the internal work when you're ready with your consent. It doesn't have to be the first visit. But the good news about medical care now is that you have options and you can enter at any point if you're not finding a provider who can support you and give you the resources you need to get pelvic floor help.
I like all this advice. You're chocked full of great information, and we'll talk about Florida in a little bit because I'm really excited to hear more about that. And your app, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Fact. Most pussy owners need some sort of clitoral stimulation to orgasm, and many are not having orgasms from penetrative sex.
Say what?
I know, right? This is one of the many reasons why we are obsessed with OMG Yes. Not only has it changed our lives in the orgasm department, but I've been recommending OMG Yes to my clients for years, and it's completely changed their sex lives as well. OMGS features scientific research of real vulva owners, aka women, showing techniques to pleasure the pussy. They turn the research into tasteful, educational short videos, animated modules, and infographics for easy visual learning.
They call it OMGS for a reason, because OMGS is for anyone who wants to learn about pussy pleasure or take it to the next level. Whether you're a beginner or someone who wants to take your orgasms from good to mind-blowing, then you need to check out OMG Yes. They have 3 seasons: external pleasure, internal pleasure, and sex toys. It's not a subscription service, y'all, so you don't need to download a single thing. And it's great for partners who want to pleasure that pussy too. And for listeners of our show, OMGS is offering 10% off when you go to omgyes.com/shameless. Again, that's omgyes.com/shameless to receive 10% off unlimited access towards enhancing your pleasure power forever. Newsflash, everybody. We are picky about our lubes.
Can we say uber picky?
Yes, we can. And let me tell you all why Uber Lube is our absolute favorite lube ever. Uber Lube is a luxurious silicone lubricant that I want all over my body. Yes, it's designed for sex because it enhances intimacy while allowing you to still feel the skin-on-skin contact, but it feels so good that I want it everywhere. Uber Lube is long-lasting, leaves your skin feeling velvety smooth, and it's there when you want it, but then it dissipates when you're done.
Yes! Aside from using Uber Lube for all of my sexy sessions, and I use it all the time, I also use it for massages, for my hair frizzies, to prevent chafing, and it brings out the color of your beautiful tattoos. Thousands of doctors and therapists in the US alone are recommending Uber Lube to their patients because it's body-friendly, less likely to change the pH, and has vitamin E so it feels moisturizing on the skin. Uber Lube has no flavor or scent, which means it's also great for oral sex. And it comes in a beautiful glass bottle with a pump top, which means easy access to Pleasure Town.
Want to see why we think Uber Lube is the best lube in the world? Then go to uberlube.com and use discount code SHAMELESS to get 10% off and free shipping. Again, that's uberlube.com right now with code SHAMELESS for 10% off and free shipping. So tip-wise, our listeners love, love, love tips. And I think that obviously there's some hacks here that you've already mentioned some. So what are some top things you can do for yourself to take care of your own pelvic floor, even preventatively, and then if you do have issues as well?
So I have like 3 or 4 that are like my top tips. So I would say the first one is looking at how you pee, because you pee 8 to 10 times a day. And the first thing is sit down. So a lot of us hover over toilets if they're like gross and yucky, which you can do on occasion, but your standard should be to sit down. If you hover over a toilet all the time, then you don't empty your bladder well, and that can lead to urinary tract infections and frequent urination. So sit down. The other thing is don't push when you pee. Like, we are notorious for being power peers. We are like in and
Power
out,
peers.
always in a rush. Like it's like a contest, like whose stream can be the loudest. So I'm like, no, sit down and chill, take some big deep breaths and don't push when you pee because that can lead to, again, incomplete bladder emptying and weakness of your pelvic floor.
But people are trying to see
never
whose
knew
stream can be
that.
the loudest. I'm trying to be quiet over here. What's going on?
No, I mean, people are like, look at, I mean, I think when you hear like a loud stream, you're like, oh my God, my stream's not that strong. Maybe I need to like push harder. But I think more than anything, we're just always in a hurry. And I'm like, no, just like chill when you pee. Just sit and chill and like don't push. And then the other thing is not going pee just in case, like pee when you have the urge to go. I think every time you get on a flight and then you land and then before you get in the taxi and then when you get to the hotel, it's like you pee every time you cross a bathroom and you're not letting your body get the natural urges to get full in your bladder. So the normal frequency to pee is every 2 to 4 hours during the day and then 0 to 2 times at night. So you want to try to stay within that range, not going too frequently, but not holding off too long either. So like go when you have the urge to go.
I'm like a camel. It's not good. When you said 8 to 10 times a day, I think maybe, and I drink some water and things, and coffee and wine, but I don't go that many times. I haven't ever really
Did you have
counted.
someone on a flight though that we like didn't get up for like 9 hours? They're like,
flew
are
to
you
China.
okay?
I flew to China. No, I didn't get up for 14 hours.
No.
So this is about balance,
I'm
I
like,
assume.
urinary tract it is. So like go when you have the urge to go. So if you had the urge to go, which you may have had, I hope, yes, you should have gone.
Well, I didn't have to. And I just hate the airplane bathroom so much. I was just like, I was on Air China and I was like, oh man, I got to crawl over this sleeping man that's next to me and then another sleeping person.
Oh no.
This isn't about me, but if anybody else has this thing where they don't pee as much, like let me know because I'm not ashamed. But Amy has said that she's like, you haven't peed in a while.
Are you okay?
Yeah. And then when I am going a lot, she's like, oh.
What's going on? Also, so like,
what's going on?
The balance piece, right? So I'm hearing like, let your body actually do its natural process that lets you know. Just like when we're hungry or thirsty, right? Our body's like hungry, thirsty.
Right.
I have to pee, I have to poop. So we're not forcing a thing, but we're also not ignoring the things.
You're
so
not
that
ignoring the
14
thing.
hours go by.
And some people dehydrate themselves because they don't like to go in public or they don't want to leak. So they'll just not drink. And then, you go 4, 8, 10 hours. So that puts you at risk of a urinary tract infection or like pelvic floor tension. So you want to try to go between 2 to 4 hours. That's kind of the normal range. But like teachers, medical providers, I mean, none of them go to the bathroom. They have to delay the urge sometimes. So it's a challenge for sure, but you want to try to stay in that range.
This is good to know. I really
Crawl over
like
the
this.
sleeping man.
So you said earlier peeing during orgasms. I've heard there's so many schools of thought, specifically around female ejaculation. Like, the body can't actually pee during orgasm. I'm like, pretty sure it can. Because like we're full on, like we love female ejaculation. We believe it's a real thing. Is it urine? Maybe. Is it not urine? Maybe. It's not urine. It's not urine. So can you explain a little bit more about that, about people that are peeing when they orgasm?
Yeah. So we often call it squirting. I think the scientific nerdy term is called climacturia. So what happens is that it's both.
Sexy.
You're ejaculating urine and female ejaculate. So when you actually look at the specimen sample, it has both in there. The reason for this is that your muscles that are contracting and relaxing during an orgasm, your pelvic floor muscles, it's the outer layer of the pelvic floor muscles that are contracting and relaxing during an orgasm. They also close your urinary sphincter. So in the ideal situation, your urinary sphincter stays closed, your bladder is chill, and you can have these kind of rhythmic, climactic, orgasmic, muscle contractions. However, there are some cases, often it's a skill, sometimes people like it, sometimes people don't, when you are having an orgasm and your urinary sphincter relaxes and your bladder contracts and urine comes out. So it's only a problem if it's a problem for you. It actually happened to me when I was pregnant. My pelvic floor muscles were weaker because they were like, lengthened and stretched out and I was carrying a baby and I peed during an orgasm. I was like, oh shit, and I was like, sorry to my husband's hand, oops. But I'm like, it's one of those things like some people like it, but some people are like, I don't like it. And what can I do about it? And this is where we may work on some pelvic floor strengthening or relaxation or whatever their issue is. So, but it's both that comes out, that comes out in the fluid.
So is there something, speaking of partners and pelvic floors, so is there something that, let's talk about a woman's partner, let's say, is there something that their partners can do to help them with pelvic floor pain, especially?
Yeah, totally. I actually had somebody write to me recently that was a male partner and said, like, I'm so glad I read this book because I feel like I had no idea what my wife was going through. And it like really helped me understand and know how to support her. If somebody's having pain, I think the first thing is like, again, pain is information from your body. Pain with sex is never normal. Like it can happen to you, but it's information that something's not working right. So I would investigate it. I wouldn't try to push through it or just like, I would say like, hey, this is not comfortable for me. Can we try something else? Do we need a pause? Do we need to integrate a lubricant? Whatever the case may be. So don't push through pain because it's not going to help you in the long run. The other thing is often with pain, there's tension or tightness in the pelvic floor muscles. So think of when you have tension or tightness in your shoulders and then you get headaches or you get those knots in your shoulders and you kind of need to rub them out. It's the same thing in the pelvic floor. So you can do intravaginal massage where you insert a finger into the vagina or a tool. There are these curved tools where you press on little knots or trigger points kind of in the pelvic floor muscles, in the vaginal walls, and that can soften the muscles to help make sex more comfortable. So that's a lot of times what we educate partners on how to do. Like Amy could have done it to herself when she was using her thumb, or you can have a partner do it for you, which can integrate them into kind of some of the healing process as well. So you don't feel like, hey, this is just my problem that I'm dealing with.
Yeah. And I think that's super helpful in so many ways when it's not just like, this is my problem, right? Like we are sharing sex together, right? And same thing with like, birthing children and raising children. Like this is our shared experience, even though like you're inside of me, maybe I'm the one with the pain or the hormonal, like, in perimenopause and, or I mean, all the different things. Or like even on the reverse, like, when I have sex with a penis owner who they're having erectile issues or they're coming faster than they want to. And so I'm not gonna be like, let's make this a we thing, but more like, okay, but this is affecting both of us, or this is an us thing. Like, how can I show up to support you and you with me? And it's not just this one-sided thing. And I think that'd be really helpful for a lot of people, especially women who have never experienced that, because I think women are pretty used to like carrying their own sexual health and pleasure on their own or disregarding it for a long time. And I know penis owners do that too. It's not just us.
Yeah. I mean, you're totally right. And I think that the other thing is that we feel bad physically, like something's wrong, but then we also like feel bad for feeling bad. So we're like layering on this like guilt on top of like the physical dysfunction that we're feeling. When I'm like, I explain like pelvic floor issues. I'm like, if you had back pain, we can be like, oh, my back hurts. Or like, oh, I can't go do this because my back hurts, right? Or like, I want my husband to rub my back because my back hurts. Or I go to physical therapy. But these are muscles in our pelvic floor. So it's literally muscle spasms that are affecting this aspect of your life when it's very treatable. And so if we think about it in that way, it's like it kind of destigmatizes it a little bit like, oh, these are just muscles and tissues that need to get worked on, just like if I had back pain or a knee injury. It's no different. We've just avoided or not been educated to talk about these problems. And I think,
It's the genitals. It's the genitals. Oh, no.
We don't even say the word. I mean, we can't, I mean, I've been turned down from like news outlets because they're like, we can't say your Instagram handle, the Vagina Whisperer. I'm like, well, that's part of the fucking problem.
Exactly.
Nailed it.
That's why we need to say it.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, we get the same flack for having the word sex in our business.
Totally.
So I feel your pain.
Totally.
All right. Well, speaking of pain, no more. Oh, unless Amy, you had a question, but I wanted to talk about the book, the Floored. Right? Unless, Amy, did you have one more thing you wanted to talk about?
I want to know more about Floored. I'm floored by Floored, but I have not read Floored, but I've heard good things about Floored. So let's talk about Floored. And also what April was going to say too, because this is our notes that we can see together. So we're talking about how Floored can help everyday people, but also medical professionals.
Yeah. And that was a huge, I wrote this kind of in non-medical language because I want people to better understand their bodies. It literally teaches you the 101 of like, what are these muscles? What do they do? And then walks you through the different kind of functions, everything from urination and bowel movements and sex and periods and perimenopause and menopause, and then different life stages too, like pregnancy and postpartum. I think we always think pelvic floor issues can only occur after giving birth or with aging, but it's literally every stage of a woman's life that you can have pelvic floor changes. It's every month we have pelvic floor changes when we have a cycle. And yet we're never told like, oh, you're going to have like, more lubrication and, more vaginal moisture and stronger pelvic floor muscles when you have higher estrogen when you're ovulating. And then when you have progesterone, like you're going to have constipation and it's going to cause straining and your pelvic floor muscles are weaker. And, we're just never told these things. So I think we need to like a baseline of like, what's going on with our bodies. And then one, how do we advocate for ourselves if we have a problem? How can we get tips and tools to start things at home, which I go through in the book. And then also one of the most common questions I get is like, how do I teach my kids about their pelvic floor? And I'm like, if you don't understand your own body, it's really hard to educate the next generation about theirs. So it starts with us, and then we're able to have these really open conversations about our bodies and our pelvic floors.
I think education is key. And that is something that we're learning more and more. Amy and I, from doing this show for so many years and talking to doctors, like especially with sexual health being their specialization, and them referring to most Western doctors not having a lot of that sex education piece woven into their training. And I don't know if that's something that you want to speak to at all, but it sounds like you are address that in Floored, which is great. So it's important. It's not a dig at medical professionals, but it's curious, right? It's a curious situation.
Again, I mean, it's one of those things that one, medical providers have to ask the questions. Like the research is very clear. If you don't ask your patients specifically about an issue, they're not going to tell you. And so they have to get comfortable with saying like, are you sexually active? Do you have discomfort with intercourse? What's your frequency of intercourse? What's your method? Who are you sexually active with? Like, if we're not being asked those questions, then we don't even know who to go to talk to when there is a problem. The other thing is that I think so often we're just putting Band-Aids on problems in the medical community. It's like, oh, just take this muscle relaxer, or just like you need an anti-anxiety medicine, or like give it 6 months to a year. I mean, when you're in the throes of these issues and you finally have the courage to talk about them, and then you're gaslit or dismissed or just offered like a Band-Aid, it's completely discouraging. And so you go on living with, challenges or, dysfunction or shame or whatever the case may be, when again, these are totally treatable issues. And I think that medical providers have not been educated in their residency programs and their medical training on how to approach these issues and the role of the muscles, and they're missing a huge piece. And so we as patients are going to them being like, I want to go to pelvic floor therapy. I think I have this problem. And they're like, oh, you don't need that. Or like, you haven't had kids. Like, you don't need that but how do you know? You haven't even evaluated them. Like, that's my job. Like, let me evaluate, and then I'll tell you what I find, versus you just kind of dismissing them or telling them it's normal.
Yeah. Wow.
This is awesome.
I'm floored by your knowledge.
I mean, I've been doing this for like 2 decades, and I love how much attention pelvic floor health is getting, but we have a very long way to go. And I think that we as women and vagina owners can kind of, from the bottom up, say, we need this, we deserve this, integrate it into our medical care. But until medical providers and insurance companies start making it the standard of care, like, it has to be bottom up and top down, because people are suffering. I mean, 1 out of 2 women will experience a pelvic floor issue after the age of 65. And yet we're just like,
you're just older. Too bad.
You're just old. Your vagina's old. Deal with it. And I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. Like, diapers are not my destiny. Like, that's not fair, And so I just think that women deserve better care.
I agree with you. And I think that people out there deserve to get some more information, because we can't keep you all day, Dr. Sara Reardon. But we know that you have this online pelvic floor workout app, the V-Hive, I believe it's called, and also Floored. So how can people find you? I know you have 700,000+ followers, the Vagina Whisperer handle. So how can people find you? How can they buy your book? And how can they get your app?
So I am on Instagram as the Vagina Whisperer. It's the.vagina.whisperer. And I really, attribute the following, that number of followers is really just a testament to how many women want this information, and we're not getting it, and they deserve it. And so absolutely, you can find me there. And then on TikTok, I'm the Vag Whisperer, because TikTok doesn't like the word vagina.
Oh, TikTok does not like sex.
And then my website is thevaginawhisperer.com, where you can learn more about my app. And then my book was just released in June 2025. So you can get it wherever you like to buy books. It's just a great kind of affordable resource for folks to kind of start learning about this part of their body. I mean, I have doctors who were like, thank you for writing this. I had no idea that the pelvic floor muscles were involved with like pooping or sex or anything like that. And yeah, my app is, I have my whole platform is out now, where you can go take a quiz, and it kind of tells you like what type of pelvic floor workouts you can start with at home. And it's, everybody gets 7 days of free workouts to check it out. So
What are you waiting for? The VHI. Thank you so much, Dr. Reardon. You have been insightful and such a pleasant person to interview about a topic that can get it can be a little scary sometimes for people. And I think you really are shining some great light on the vagina. Everyone say it with me. Vagina. Vagina.
Pussy, 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 vagina, vagina, vagina.
Pussy.
Vagina's hard to say 3 times in a row, by the way.
Yeah. So thank you for the work you're doing. We absolutely love what you're doing and appreciate you taking the time to speak with us and our millions of listeners out there who are going to really, I think, be impacted by this show. So thank you. And to all of those listeners out there, whoever you are, wherever you are, please go and review us if you haven't. And if you have, review us again. You never know. You could just repost that and get us 5 stars because it helps more people find folks like Dr. Sara Reardon and the book Floored. And it also, this is a free resource for you, so it helps support this podcast. And we love you. We love each and every one of you. You can check out our premium content. We're slow, but it's only $5 a month. So you can skip a coffee one day and just support Amy and I and our premium content. Check out shamelesssex.com for what we're doing and what we're up to. And we'll see you next Tuesday, everybody. Ciao for now.
To learn more, go to shamelesssex.com.
And for 15% off some of our favorite sex toys, use code SHAMELESSSEX at purepleasureshop.com.